All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of The Opposite Reaction. I'm your host, Nick Hamilton, alongside Jackie Ray.
Yes.
We all know Donald Trump is the incoming president who's going to be running again, but also his opponent in Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, has some really choice words for what he thought about voters who don't really vote for him. Let's take a listen to the audio, shall we?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record.
The first thing is, how is a white person going to tell a black person or any other person of color they're not black enough or they're not whatever their nationality is enough if you don't vote for me? First of all, that's a turnoff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how black folks cannot look at this dude and be appalled. Enough of them, let me put it that way, because there are some that were appalled, including myself. But there are a lot of black people that just whisking this off because of the party that he's connected to, because of who he was connected to in the previous administration. And to me, it's absurd because this is the same dude that authored the crime bill in 1994. Mm-hmm. This is the same guy that when Charlemagne, if you go and listen to the entire interview, was asked, what is your agenda for black people? He tap danced around it like he was Gregory Hines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, see, in order for you to have an agenda for black people or any other person of color, that means you have to include them beyond just a vote. None of these political candidates, outside of Andrew Yang, who I've heard when he was once a political candidate, actually detail an agenda for black folks and people of color. This guy has no agenda because he doesn't count us. This is the same dude that never apologized for instituting the crime bill, which threw a lot of black men in prison more than they should have been in prison for minor offenses.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a person of his caliber trying to get votes and you got black people that's making, oh, it was a joke. No, it was a joke that wasn't funny. So keep on laughing while they take you as a joke. That's why he said it. Mm-hmm. Do you think he would have went to any other community, the LGBTQ community, the Jewish community, the Asian community? Was he joking about something that's in their community? Hell no, he wouldn't have. You know why? Because they would have pulled his feet to the fire and called him out on the carpet about it. But we are so forgiving and so just nonchalant on things that we should be more serious about. And we should not be taking this thing lightly. If my whole thing is this, if you are black, you shouldn't vote for either one of these clowns because both of them are the same. One happens to be overt, the other one happens to be covert. They may move slightly different, but have the same mentality, which means they don't take us seriously. They don't take our vote seriously. They don't take us seriously because they have no agenda for either one. And I don't care what pastors, what constituents have to say that happen to be black, that happen to be from our perspective, so to speak. You don't have an agenda. So you can't tell me, oh, well, and I said, well, I don't vote for either one of them. Well, that's somebody wrote, some ignorant ass wrote me back and said, well, that's like voting for Trump. No, it's not, you dumbass. And that's what you've been conditioned to because the people in that particular, I guarantee you're a Democrat. Why are you a Democrat? Because your mama's mama was a Democrat and that's the way we rolled. And the Democratic Party has taken advantage and taken for granted because we're black and because we've been Democrats or family members have been Democrats for so long that we know we're not going to go, most of them are not going to go to the Republican side of things. That's why I said it's a joke. And I agree with you when we talked about this, I think a few weeks ago. A two-party system is a joke.
Absolutely.
It's a joke. It's foul. And to me, you're not black if you vote for either one of these two clowns. Because guess what? Whether you vote for them or not, the answer has already been, the die has already been cast and the answer is already in. I don't vote for presidents. The last president I voted for was 2008 when Barack Obama became the first black president. Period. Once I figured it out, I only personally vote for local and state politics, because that's where we have the largest voice. That's how we have the most sound voice, and we have the most opportunity to do something about what goes on in our various communities. But beyond that, they don't give a damn about us, and they've proven it. Joe Biden has proven it. Obviously, Donald Trump has proven it. Nobody cares. And so Joe Biden is a clown.
So while I agree with just about everything you said, I highly disagree with the voting thing. But let me just say this. I think a lot of the reaction that we are seeing from Black people with regard to Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black. I feel like it's a knee-jerk reaction. I feel like it's like reading a headline and just becoming reactionary, because I've talked to several people about it. Most of y'all have not listened to the totality of the interview. It was about 18 minutes long. So here's a few points. And I'm going to say this, and I mean what I say. You would be hard pressed to find any white politician, in my opinion, in the 90s, in the 2000s, or today that give a damn about Black people, period. That's including your boy, Bernie Sanders, who also signed off on this crime bill. He said he signed off on the crime bill because it had a provision for violence against women. But him saying that basically meant I'm cool with this sector of the population reaping some sort of benefits. I give a damn about a much larger section of the population, because fun fact, there are Black women in the world. So that whole mindset is buffoonery to me. So I'm going to say that, like, we cannot expect any white politician to actually give a damn about us. White people were in full support of this crime bill, specifically to target the crack epidemic, which was affecting what? The Black community. Now, here's the thing. If you listen to the interview in its totality, there are some truths. And this is why I can respect Joe Biden as a politician, because he puts just enough truths in whatever he's saying to make you kind of second guess his politics. Nick is absolutely right. Charlamagne asked him point blank, what is your agenda with regards to Black people? He said, I'm going to send it over to you. Charlamagne asked him, is it the Lift Every Voice? He said, no, it's another manifesto. I think he legit called it a manifesto. I follow Charlamagne religiously. I can tell you right now, if Charlamagne had received that manifesto, he'd have told us about it, which leads me to believe one does not exist, because if it did, he would have sent it to Charlamagne. That being said, there are some truths in what he said. The three-strike bill, the three-strike aspect of that bill, Joe Biden was adamantly against. He thought it was ludicrous to say that people only had 3 chances before they got like life or really harsh sentences. That is a factual statement. Number 2, what we're seeing now with white folks now are receiving drug court with the opioid epidemic. Theoretically speaking, though, that drug court scenario was included in the crime bill. We as Black people just didn't get it. But that drug court thing was Joe Biden's idea. So he is putting an element of truth in his statement. But here's where I kind of have to fall right in the middle. We as Black people, we hand out Black cards for people who can sing and stay on beat. Now, if we are just willy-nilly with our Black card, can we really get mad at a politician who is running against a homophobic, racist, misogynistic dimwit who can barely read? Can we really get mad at him for trying to cash in on the Black card? We hand them out like it's a red Kmart sale. So I'm not mad at him for saying this. I mean, because, none of y'all had nothing to say when Hillary went on the same show and said, hey, Charlamagne asked her point blank. So it seems like you just trying to say things and get in good with Black people so you can get the Black vote. She said, is it working? Y'all laughed all of that off. So I don't understand why you so mad at Joe Biden saying, hey, this formula worked. Let me ride with it.